Have you ever felt like giving up on your goals because progress feels too slow or the obstacles seem too big? You're not alone. Most people quit before they even get close to success. But here's the truth, winners think differently, and today, I'll show you exactly why winners never quit and how you can adopt the same mindset to achieve anything you set your heart on. Welcome back to the channel. If you've ever started something, whether it's a business, a fitness goal, or a dream project and felt like throwing in the towel, this video is for you. Because today, we're going to uncover the real reason why winners never quit, even when the journey gets tough. Think about this for a moment. Every single person who has ever achieved something extraordinary, whether it was building a billion-dollar company, winning a gold medal, or creating a piece of art that changed the world, has one thing in common. They faced obstacles that could have easily stopped them, but instead of quitting, they chose persistence. And that choice made all the difference. Now, here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Obstacles are not there to block you from success. They are there to test you, to see if you're serious about what you say you want. And this is where winners separate themselves from everyone else. Most people hit a wall, feel the pain, and decide, maybe this isn't for me. But winners, they look at that wall and say, okay, this is part of the journey. This is where I grow stronger. When you think about persistence, don't confuse it with just showing up once in a while. Persistence is not about working hard for a week and then disappearing when things get tough. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't see results, even when the world tells you it's impossible. That's why persistence is so powerful. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Let me give you an example. Imagine an athlete training for the Olympics. They don't just train when it's convenient, when the weather is nice, or when they're in the mood. They train through injuries, through exhaustion, through setbacks. Every missed shot, every slow run, every failure, it's not a reason to quit. It's fuel to keep going. Because they understand that persistence is the price of greatness. And here's something we don't realize about obstacles. Sometimes the obstacle is the very thing that prepares us for the success we're aiming for. You see, if success were easy, everyone would have it. If there were no resistance, no struggle, no hardship, then winning wouldn't even feel like winning. It would just be ordinary. It's the fight, it's the grind, it's the struggle that makes victory meaningful. But here's the catch: most people never get to taste that victory because they give up too soon. They think the obstacle means stop, when in reality the obstacle means grow. Winners know this secret. They understand that every rejection, every failure, every setback is part of the training ground for success. Persistence doesn't just help you get through obstacles. It shapes you into the kind of person who deserves the success you're chasing. Now think about your own life. How many times have you started something, felt excited in the beginning, only to stop when things got hard? Maybe it was a fitness goal, maybe a business idea, maybe learning a new skill. At first, the motivation is high, everything feels fresh, you're full of energy. But the moment reality hits, the moment the struggle shows up, that's when the quitting starts. And every time you quit, you train your mind to believe that obstacles are the end of the road. But winners flip that script. They train themselves to see obstacles as part of the process. They tell themselves, this challenge isn't here to stop me, it's here to make me better. That's why persistence is so rare. It requires a mindset shift. It requires you to stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? And here's the beautiful part: persistence compounds. The longer you stay in the game, the more you learn. The more you push through setbacks, the stronger you become. The more you refuse to quit, the more opportunities open up. Persistence doesn't guarantee an easy path, but it guarantees growth. And growth always leads to breakthroughs. History is full of people who failed countless times but refused to quit. Thomas Edison tested over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. 10,000 failures. But each failure wasn't the end, it was a lesson. And because he persisted, we live in a world full of light. Imagine if he had quit after the first 100 tries or the first 1,000. The world would be a darker place. And this isn't just about famous inventors or athletes. It's about you, your dream, your vision, your goal. Whatever you're chasing, persistence is the key to unlocking it. Obstacles are inevitable. They will show up. But your response to those obstacles determines everything. Winners persist. Winners push through. Winners refuse to let obstacles define them. Let's be honest, we all love the feeling of motivation. That spark of energy when you watch an inspiring video, read a powerful quote, or hear someone's success story. It makes you feel unstoppable. You say to yourself, "This is it, I'm ready. Nothing can stop me now." But then, a few days later, maybe even a few hours later, that feeling fades. You wake up tired, life throws distractions at you, and suddenly that unstoppable energy disappears. This is where most people fall apart. They rely on motivation, and when motivation runs out, so does their progress. Winners don't play that game. They understand something crucial: motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Motivation is like a spark, but discipline is the firewood that keeps the flame alive. Without discipline, motivation is useless. You can be the most motivated person in the world for a short time, but without discipline, you'll never last long enough to see results. Think about it this way. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are inconsistent. Some days you feel amazing, other days you feel exhausted. Some mornings you wake up ready to conquer the world. Other mornings you just want to hit snooze and hide under the blanket. If you only take action when you feel motivated, you're guaranteeing inconsistency. Winners don't wait to feel like it, they do it because it needs to be done. That's discipline. Let's use an example. Imagine someone who decides to start going to the gym. On day one, they're fired up. Maybe they just watched a transformation video online. They go in full energy, pushing hard. Day two, they're still motivated. But by day 7, the soreness kicks in, progress feels slow, life gets busy, and suddenly the motivation isn't as strong. This is the moment where most people quit, but the person with discipline, they go anyway. Not because they feel like it, but because they've committed to the process. And guess what? Months later, when everyone else who relied on motivation has already quit, the disciplined one is seeing results. That's why winners never quit. They don't depend on emotion, they don't depend on hype, they depend on habits. Discipline is about showing up, rain or shine, tired or energized, excited or bored. It's about creating a system that doesn't give you an option to back out just because you don't feel like it. Discipline takes the decision-making out of it. It's not, should I work today? It's, this is what I do every day, no matter what. And here's something powerful. Discipline actually creates freedom. Most people think discipline is about restriction, about forcing yourself into a rigid routine. But the truth is, discipline is the thing that sets you free. When you're disciplined with your health, you enjoy more energy, more confidence, and more years of your life. When you're disciplined with your work, you create opportunities, stability, and freedom of choice. When you're disciplined with your goals, you stop wasting time starting over again and again. Motivation might get you started, but discipline ensures you finish. There's another reason discipline beats motivation: it's predictable. Motivation comes and goes. You can't control it. You don't wake up every day overflowing with energy and excitement, but discipline, that's in your control. You can build it like a muscle. The more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes. Winners know this, and that's why they're relentless. They treat discipline like their secret weapon. Think about elite athletes. Do you really think they feel motivated every single day to train for hours, to stick to strict diets, to push their bodies past exhaustion? No, they're human too. They have days when they don't want to get out of bed, days when they'd rather take it easy. But they've trained themselves to not rely on motivation. They have discipline, and that discipline carries them through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. And it's not just athletes. Entrepreneurs who build successful companies, writers who finish books, students who ace their exams, they all have one thing in common: they don't wait for motivation to strike. They create routines, habits, and systems that keep them consistent. Motivation fades, but discipline stays. Motivation is emotional, but discipline is logical. Motivation asks, do I feel like it today? Discipline answers, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm doing it anyway. Now, here's the part that separates winners from everyone else. Discipline is uncomfortable. It's not easy. That's why most people don't build it. It requires sacrifice, patience, and commitment. It means saying no when others are saying yes. It means staying focused when others are distracted. But winners embrace that discomfort because they know that discipline is the path to results. Motivation makes you feel good, but discipline makes you better. And here's what happens over time: discipline creates momentum. At first, it feels hard, even unnatural. But the more you stay disciplined, the more automatic it becomes. You stop arguing with yourself about whether or not you should do something. You just do it. And that consistency builds progress. That progress builds confidence. And that confidence fuels even more discipline. It's a cycle that keeps winners moving forward when everyone else has already quit. Here's something most people never realize: quitting doesn't just stop you where you are. It kills the future that could have been. Every time you quit, you don't just walk away from the struggle, you walk away from the reward that was waiting for you just a little further down the road. Winners understand this truth at a deep level, and that's why they never quit. Think about it. How many people give up on their dreams right before something big was about to happen? How many businesses have closed their doors months before they would have turned profitable? How many athletes have walked away from training before they reached their peak performance? How many students stopped studying right before they were about to finally grasp the subject? It's heartbreaking because quitting doesn't just end the process, it erases the potential. It steals the possibility of what could have been. The dangerous thing about quitting is that it becomes a habit. Once you quit once, it gets easier to quit again. Your brain learns that the moment things get uncomfortable, giving up is an option. And over time, this kills not only your potential, but also your belief in yourself. That's why winners refuse to give up. They know that quitting isn't just about this one moment, it's about the kind of person you retraining yourself to become. Either you become the kind of person who keeps going no matter what, or the kind of person who folds every time it gets hard. Now let's look at the reality of success. Progress is often invisible in the beginning. You can be putting in hours, days, weeks, even months of work and feel like nothing is changing. This is where most people quit because they assume lack of visible results means nothing is happening. But here's the truth: progress is building underneath the surface. Just like when you plant a seed, nothing appears for a long time, but roots are forming underground. If you quit watering that seed because you don't see growth, you kill the potential of a tree that could have given you fruit for years. Winners know this. They understand that just because they don't see the results yet doesn't mean progress isn't being made. Think about some of the greatest inventors and creators in history. How many times do you think they failed before they succeeded? If they had quit after their first few attempts, the world would look completely different today. The light bulb, the airplane, the computer, even the phone in your pocket, none of it would exist if the people behind them had quit when it was hard. They didn't quit because they knew that potential doesn't die unless you let it. And this isn't just about big inventions or historical figures, it's about you. Every dream you have, every goal you've set, every vision you see for your life, it's all potential. The work you're doing today, the effort you're putting in, even when it feels small, is building towards that future. But if you quit, you cut it off before it has the chance to bloom. Winners keep going because they can see the potential even when no one else can. Quitting also carries regret, and regret is heavy. When you look back on the things you gave up on, it's painful to wonder what could have been. People rarely regret failing because at least they tried. But people do regret quitting because deep down they know they didn't give themselves the chance to succeed. Winners avoid that regret by pushing forward. They'd rather fail trying than quit and never know what could have been. The truth is, most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they quit too soon. They had the ability, they had the potential, but they didn't have the persistence to carry it through. Winners know this, and that's why they push through the hard times. They understand that the breakthrough often comes right after the hardest struggle. That's when most people give up just before the finish line. But that's exactly why winners win. They refuse to stop running even when it hurts, even when it feels impossible, because they know the reward is on the other side. When you think about the moments in life where you wanted to quit, remember this: quitting doesn't just stop the pain, it stops the progress. The obstacles you face, the struggles you go through, they are not there to destroy you, they're there to prepare you. But if you quit, you'll never know what those struggles were shaping you for. Winners never quit because they refuse to kill their own potential. They would rather fight, stumble, and fall forward than throw away everything they've worked for. So when you put it all together, the truth becomes crystal clear. Winners never quit because they understand three things. Persistence turns obstacles into opportunities. Discipline carries them forward when motivation runs out. And quitting kills the very potential that could have changed their lives. Every setback, every challenge, every tough moment is just part of the process that shapes them into who they need to become. And here's the part you need to remember: you are no different from those winners. The same strength, the same persistence, the same discipline lives inside you too. The only question is, will you keep pushing when it gets hard? Will you stay disciplined when the excitement fades? Will you protect your potential by refusing to quit? Because the road to success is not reserved for the strongest, the smartest, or the luckiest. It belongs to those who refuse to give up. It belongs to those who decide, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many obstacles stand in the way, they will not quit. And if you make that choice today, you've already taken the first step toward becoming a winner yourself.